Yes, you are so welcome. When we were beginning, are we live now? I didn't see the little doodad in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay, we are live and animated and meeting each other. And as we were coming on, we got into this conversation because it's really easy for me to chase rabbits. Like someone says something and that makes me think, so Buddy was talking about taking a seminar, or excuse me, a webinar, and learning something to improve what he does, and being willing to learn, being open to learning. And this is the first time that I said, when I think it's 65, you can audit. Maybe it's different from university to university, but I think at 65, you can audit a class. And it's like someone asked me, what would you take? And I said, gerontology. But why don't I take a philosophy class or literature in the Middle East like my daughter took when she was in university and loved it? Why don't I take a science audit, a science class that will make me think really hard, going, okay, I understood that part. When I get home, Google all these things that they're saying. Why not, build my neural net? So, Emil, you built something more than just the neural pathways in your mind. You actually built something else, and you showed me you are ready. You are totally ready. Can you tell us a little bit about what you built?
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. I represent a company called Steadyware. We co-founded the company in 2015 after realizing that we all have tremors in our families, and we decided that we were going to tackle this problem from a different lens. What we decided to tackle it with is a vibration mechanics lens. What we did is we took an idea from earthquake design and decided to implement it on the hand. So, for people that have such type of hand tremor, the activities that they perform on a daily basis, like eating, drinking, and writing, are a real challenge. And what happens is they try the medication, and around 60% of the population, that medication is not working very well, either because of blood pressure or because of other side effects or just functionality, because naturally these medications were made as anticonvulsants and not tremor medications. In terms of surgeries, they're usually reserved for the more extreme cases. So we found a little gap in the market there and decided to tackle it with pure mechanics. And we decided to go with a structural engineering design. We built a device. It's a glove. What I'm wearing here on my hand is the third version of the technology. As you can tell, there's no on switch or off switch. It's a passive device. You slide it on, it detects the tremor frequency that you're struggling at, and counteracts it with the most force it can. So the version that we have on the market currently, it's for essential tremor. It's a lot larger. It's around this big. It weighs a pound. What you see here is a third version that will be launched in 6 months, and this is going to work for essential tremor and Parkinson's disease. It weighs half a pound. It'll be just like its predecessor. It'll be a class 1 medical device in the United States and Canada. It'll be reimbursed for veterans, just like its predecessor, and it'll be commercially available by November of this year. We will start with pre-orders sometime in August. It's a pretty straightforward system. It doesn't require any calibrations or anything like that. You slide it on, it detects the frequency of your tremor and counteracts it as long as it's within the bandwidth of the device. So we are able to tackle a range between 3.5 and 10 hertz, which is quite a wide spectrum in the world of hand tremors. For clarity, we're not going after multiple sclerosis yet. We are solely focused on essential tremor and Parkinson's disease. There are some stroke victims that are using our technology. Every now and then we get a dystonia or an ataxia or something along those lines, but our focus is on the essential tremor and Parkinson's disease market for now. I'll stop there. Maybe there are some questions, or Christine, if you want to chime in.
Well, I have
Awesome.
You go
Yes,
ahead,
go.
Ron. You go ahead.
How limiting is it? In other words, can you do everything that you would normally do, or is your hand semi-immobilized, and is it something you wear all the time or some of the
Yeah,
time?
awesome questions. I don't think this version is very limiting because it's only like 2 centimeters in height. I'm not sure how much that is in inches. I think it's like 1 inch maybe. But it's not very limiting in weight either. It's only 250 grams or half a pound. In terms of what people are using it for, they're using it for activities like eating, drinking, writing, using their iPad. We have patients that are playing the clarinet again. Customers are shaving their beards with this thing on. The spectrum is quite wide in terms of how many hours they're wearing it for. When we sent out the survey, we surveyed around 2,000 of our users, and the consensus was between 2 and 4 hours a day. We do have some people like mechanics or people that are like lumberjacks, in more labor-intensive activities. They're using it for upwards of 4 hours. They're using it for up to 8 hours a day, and they just really like the stability aspect of it.
I was going to say, I know a number of people with Parkinson's, and I can see how this would be a great help for them. Because as you say, just the act of lifting a fork and getting it to your mouth is a struggle. And,
Yeah, it really is a struggle. It can be a challenge, and there are things that people really struggle with. I think the main two when we surveyed the population were eating and drinking.
Right.
Those were the main two. If I were to expand, it would be using your computer, using your phone. Finger tremors are even more challenging because, as you can tell, this is not, facilitated for specific finger tremors, but they are less common too. So I will add that.
One question I did have, when a condition is degenerative, such as Parkinson's, do you have an ability to recalibrate the device as tremors worsen?
Yeah, awesome question. So that's actually one of our unique selling points when we're going up against weighted objects, for example. With weighted objects, they don't have the ability to adapt to the frequency of the tremor. With our device, because it's a magnetic damper, a 2-mass damper, we are able to adapt and accommodate that range of frequency. So if you come to us, let's say, with your mild tremors in the beginning and tremors are deteriorating over time, then most definitely we will be able to help you as they deteriorate. I will say at some point, and this is more the extreme cases, you will be referred to surgery. If your tremors exceed somewhere to above 8 to 9 hertz, then typically we do see that.
Right.
We have patients that don't want to use surgical solutions, and they just stick with our device, and they prefer that. But in general, DBS or deep brain stimulation or focused ultrasound surgeries, they do play a role in the continuum of care. And just to answer Annie, yes, this is working for essential tremors. To be clear, the device that's currently available on our website only works for essential tremors, and it works for 2/3 of the population. And so that's been our home run in terms of the movement disorders. And now we're hoping to tackle Parkinson's disease with this version, the newer version of our technology, in the next couple of months.
Do they usually just wear it on one hand? They just have one device, right?
Yeah. So you know what we typically ask is to have patients buy one first and try out, the device, see if they like it. If they like it, they can always buy another one. We recommend starting with one. I will say that, tremors tend to be bilateral. So it's not very uncommon to hear people using two, but we always recommend starting with one.
Well, as technologically advanced as that is, I would think it'd be expensive. What do they cost?
Oh yeah, so the current version of our technology retails for $650. We have like a small spring sale going on. It's like $100 off right now. So it's not outlandish. I will say that. And we do have a payment plan also, which comes out to like $40 a month. I will say the newer version of our technology, we're anticipating a little bit of a spike in pricing. To be fair, we haven't changed our pricing since 2019. So we are anticipating somewhere around $800, maybe $900 at the upper extreme, $1,000 or $999.
How long does it last? Does it wear out, or what kind of material is it?
Yeah, so the magnets will typically wear out in a couple of years. I want to say 3 to 4 years. Durability tests are pointing towards that. Um, the the rubber component is exchange. You can change it. You can send it back to us. You can adjust it. The straps can be adjusted, washed, and changed every couple of months. But it's really the magnets that are the most expensive component that require changing, and that's the 4 year mark. Annie, this is not like a Pond's device. No, this is a magnetic damping system, so no batteries are required. If I got your question correctly, what's happening here is a counteracting force. We're using the energy from your tremor to stabilize your tremor. In short, if I were to summarize that in one line.
Ani comes in with a medical background. She's been a previous guest on the show. I'm hoping that I'm saying it right. Last Stop for Pain is a way to get a hold of Ani. She also does massage therapy, but she works with people. She refuses to accept the statement that some people have heard. Well, when you get to this age, you should expect pain and you should expect it to increase, or considering what you've been through or the condition that you have, the accident, the injury, this is just part of it. She doesn't accept that. And she's just a real supporter of Aging Better Network. So she might have a lot more conversation with you in the future, considering her patients, her clientele. So
That's awesome. Yeah, I connected with her on LinkedIn.
oh, good. Wow. So Buddy, Ron, Don, you can jump in. Buddy, you are also new to me, to aspects of aging as a conversation. Don came in my very first attempt. And now I'm up to about 80, maybe 90 episodes. I need to figure out when my 100th is and do some sort of confetti thing. But Ron came in early on as well. And I'm just grateful to each of you and to each of the people who have been willing to step into a live situation, which means anything can happen. Dogs, internet, sneezes. One person picked up a ukulele and started singing. I love live. I love life. So, Buddy, why in the world did you say yes to me? What piqued your interest?
Well, I love the name of your show, Aging Better. How could one do better than that? Especially when we reach a certain age. It's been a long time since I should have been retired according to the American age of retirement. I'm 81 years old and still working full time, well, more or less full time, self-employed when I want to work, which is most of the time, because I love what I do. So I intend to work all my life, as long as I can.
Good for you.
Yeah. So I'm very interested in aging. The one subject I'd like to learn more about is muscle building and maintenance after at my age. I go to the gym a couple times a week, but the muscles don't seem to grow like they used to. So, I'm going to be doing some research on that.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff starting to come out, looking at things like strength, the output rather than the input. That we've had these guidelines, 100 or do cardio aerobic 150 minutes a week and resistance exercise 2 to 3 times a week, and we're starting to look more at things like strength. Can you get up from the floor using no more than one hand? Can you, get up from a chair without, using the hands? Grip strength is a real issue as people get older. So I think you're on the right foot in being concerned about it, because it's a definite issue. And again, there's been some change in thinking in the field.
Yep.
I've been a very recent convert to strength training, because I spent my entire life in a very successful campaign to avoid athletic injuries by avoiding athletics altogether. And now I have trouble getting up off the floor when I'm on the floor with my grandkids. And so I said, got to do something about this. Worked with a personal trainer for about 6 months, and then I've been on my own. And I don't know that I'm building muscles, but I can tell that I'm not losing. And to me, that's just as good, because I'm able to do the things. I get out of the chair. I'm able to get off the floor. I'm not falling, which was my big concern. I'm naturally clumsy, and that didn't help. So having more strength in all the muscles has really helped that. So I'm a convert. I buy it.
You've got a lot of company. I know that I'm currently, among my other things, in the leadership team at Better Age, which is devoted to helping the enhancing the health and well-being of older adults. And we're starting out with an assessment that we're doing with senior centers throughout the country. And the 3 most important things that show up as being most prominent: physical exercise is first, and then comes nutrition and sleep. And the other thing I think is really interesting from our Better Age survey is about 20% of the older adults have difficulty asking for help. And if that shows up as one of your problems, they tend to do worse on pretty much every measure of well-being than the people who don't have any problem asking for help. So whether it's exercise or anything else, acknowledging that you have a problem and asking for help to go in the right direction is a real skill.
That is important to bring up, because all through this, I'm thinking how much of that strength training is also increasing your confidence in your body. How much of it is causing your system to be a little more alert, causing you to be cognitively aware of your body position and how you're sitting. It's just improve. And it starts with, I would actually like help from an expert in this area, because you may as well use all your training and kind of like in business, you're delegating. It's like, I delegate this to you. You know the stuff. Now do it for me, and then I'll be on my way to what's important to me. I would love to welcome Steve Berger again, a super supporter also of ABN. And Emil, you probably already saw that he said that this would have been amazing for his dad. I do not know if some of these things you were saying, that you and your team, Emil, have tremors in your families. Did I hear that correctly?
That's correct. Yes.
So yes, so great. I thinking that Emil is really good at what he does. He's, you know, uh, making sure that he's got all the boxes checked on. This is ready for Canada and the US. That it doesn't serve this. We are not there yet. We're about to launch. That he's going to be connecting with people. Ani again came in and asked on the topic of the moment, eccentric exercises. Well, I love the word. I mean, eccentric. If you're going to be aging and if you're going to look like you're aging, I think that I want to leverage my aging as people see me. I'll leverage it. Either they'll help me up those stands to watch the game. It's like, can I help you? That happens a lot now because I'm gray enough. But also eccentric exercises. What are those? Does anyone know?
I have no idea, although I suspect that any exercise I do is going to be eccentric.
Right.
My goodness.
I want to comment on the asking for help. You mentioned, you've reached a point where, did you use the word glay? I'm not sure what that means, but that's a tangent. But anyway, I used to teach social psychology, and one of the things that a lot of people have a problem with is they feel like it makes them seem weak if they ask for help. But actually, or they may feel like the other party is being imposed upon. And it's interesting to note that people love to help. It makes them feel important and feel powerful and knowledgeable and good. They feel like a good person if they can help you. So actually, you're doing people a favor if you ask for help. We need to think of it that way, that don't hesitate to ask for help, because people are going to like themselves better if they help you.
Buddy, if I can add from a female perspective, there's another kind of reluctance to ask for help, and that is there's a certain expectation of women that they're going to serve everybody else first and themselves last. And it's more important to take care of everybody else and not themselves. And I think there are lots of tragic stories of people who were super caregivers who didn't make it all the way because they didn't look into their own condition. Does that ring right for you, Christine?
I do understand that. It may start with momming, that it's, does everyone else have what they need? And, oh, this plate is chipped. I'll set it at my place so that everyone else sees the better plates, etc. And certainly caregiving. I'm going to say caregiving does not matter on the gender. Once you move into that typically maternal thing of providing assistance for someone that you care about, whose situation is going to require more care next month, next year, that it keeps pouring until that container is empty. And they've turned themselves upside down, hoping for one more drip. And they don't make it. They have the stroke. They have a disease that they were going to take care of when things are better. I will go and check on myself. So yeah, that is wonderful to think that asking for help causes the other person, the person being asked, to go, I'm going to see results from what I've done. Emil apparently is in very much contact with people who want to know about the device or have it, and are asking him questions, and he gets to see results. He gets to collect more data from someone who says, well, my friend came over and this is their situation, and so I let them try it, and like, what were the results? What is their situation? Maybe they just to hear from someone, to be honest enough to say, I don't want other people to know, but I also have neuropathy. And it's like, and how is this helping with that? And then I could see him making notes going, okay, so that's a different component. Is there a dual device? I just it's enjoyable to be asked to show what you know.
I'd be curious
Actually,
to know.
I'm sorry.
Well, if Emil has any solutions for neuropathy.
Can't say that we do right now. We've been laser focused on this problem. When we launched this product, we were one of the first in the category. So, let alone inventing a device, it was really hard to, develop a device with not a lot of data in the market. We had to go after some leads and build on that information, and then validate it through obscure channels that are not very straightforward, because the data just wasn't out there. And gladly now we're looked at as I wouldn't say key opinion leaders just yet, but we're definitely well respected in the space. When referring to the hand tremor market, we have over 2,000 users at a given time, and the technology is progressing year by year.
Ron, I'm sorry I didn't give you a chance.
That's okay. No problem. That was important information to know. But I did want to follow up with, what Christine had pointed out about, the benefits you get from doing help. I mean, there's actually considerable research in this to show that it not only from a psychological standpoint is good for the helper, but there's actually research showing that people who have done help have actually had some health improvements themselves. People have reduced the reliance on canes because they were helping other people and creating some biochemical changes that help them. There was and when you talked about women, it also applies to a lot of people who have been in executive positions for a long time, or have been in professional positions where they were the authority, and now to ask for help. There was a concept that I came up with that I call addiction to second place, that you wind up putting everybody else's needs before yours because you know you can do it. So what wind up overloading yourself. You take the letter or the bill to the mailbox because you know that'll get mailed the right way. You read the manual, so you know that the dishwasher has to get loaded a particular way. So instead of trusting somebody else to do a job where, it'll get the dishes clean, you get them pointed the right way toward the stream and so on. So the time into your day. And then on top of that, you get to a point where asking for help has not been a skill that you've developed over time. And, there may be all kinds of other self-perceptions that, geez, I'm weak if I'm asking for help, or I should be able to figure this thing out by myself, and so on. And it doesn't always work that way.
Well, you mentioned addiction to second place. Reminds me of what used to be called the co-pilot syndrome. If a person has been a co-pilot too long, it's difficult for them to become the pilot in airplanes because they're used to somebody else making the final decisions. And I think that applies to a lot of people besides pilots, besides airplanes, So.
I noticed that you said something like people have not practiced asking for help. And I'd like to point out that in networking, whether you are a volunteer, which I am with Oregon Gerontological Association, and I will be contacting the people on my list, the organizations and businesses, asking for sponsorship, that networking, whether it's to continue your business or to be considered for a position with a company or a university, that practicing asking another person is part of networking, because you are giving them the stage and they feel good after they have finished talking with you. And they may not, as we know, remember everything that you said, but they'll know that they felt great interacting with you. And that is why my husband stole from me his hashtag, which is motivational listener, which means asking that person about where they succeed, what they have that they have offered and they have seen results. So I'm just going to encourage anyone who sees this in replay to practice asking for help, whether you become a caregiver who is helping and someone else could be helping you help, because everybody wins that way. I just love that, we haven't practiced asking for help. I really admire a person who ran a whole battalion in the military. I really admire how they can practice meekness in a situation, and you still have such respect for them. You still hear the authorities, see it, but that they say, something like, my experience gives me a different perspective on what you are saying. And you're like, I think they're disagreeing with me, but I don't feel put down. They're just really good at it,
Yep.
So I would, to make sure, we really have several more minutes. Are you all able to stay for the full hour, or should I defer to one of you to start describing what it is that you want other people to know about you, how to get a hold of you, or to see what it is that you offer? Does anyone need to leave early?
I do have to step away at 12:45 just to walk to my next meeting. So I'm happy to start. There were a couple of questions you mentioned, describing what I want people to know. Is that what you said about the company? And
Oh yeah,
and where to find us?
this
Yeah.
is definitely your opportunity to say you don't want to miss this. What was it you were giving us, spring % off or something? But also to
Oh.
let us know the links and the way to get a hold, and spell Steadyware, because if someone's listening to this while they are doing caregiving or driving or anything else, spell Steadyware so they'll get to it first time round.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'll start with spelling Steadyware. It's S as in Sam, T as in Tom, E as in email, A as in apple, D as in dog, I as in island, W as in where, E as in email, A as in apple, R as in Roger.com. And you can find us at steadyware.com. My personal email is emil.mamari@steadyware.com. I'll spell out my first name, Emile, last name Mamari, Mamary. We are currently running a sale on the current version of our technology, which we are phasing out in the next couple of months. And it's a $100 discount while supplies last. We have around 50 units left, and the $100 discount will give you the opportunity to purchase the device at $549. And there's a 30-day money-back guarantee on that too, 1-year warranty, free shipping and returns. We are launching the version I did show you today. We are launching this, and it'll be commercially available in 6 months, but we will start with pre-orders in 3 months. So you can find it on our website, steadyware.com. We're aiming for a July 15 or a July 30th launch of the pre-order campaign, and a product delivery of either November 15 or November 30th. Hardware is hard. Timelines change. So that's why I'm giving you a couple of different dates there. And with that, I'll pass it on to the next person. Thank you again for having me.
Wow, a 30-day money back guarantee. You are dedicated to improving day-to-day life for people, and you're not going to throw them something that might help, but sorry, you've already purchased it.
Oh no, we
all
want
sales
patients
are
to,
final.
Yeah, we want customers to try this from the comfort of their home. We know that being in a clinic can raise anxiety levels. We know that being somewhere estranged can be more uncomfortable for them and actually make the tremors worse. As a result, we want them to have the ability to do that at home, and that's why we offer these terms, and we don't plan on changing that anytime soon.
Wow. Emil, when you need to bow out, we'll just wave goodbye to you. You really got the conversation going. I'm glad we started with the show and tell. Let's go up to Don. He was with me at the beginning, August 24th, 2022. And I don't know if he's just got a really good curiosity quotient, whether he said, well, can't hurt, or whether he thought, you know what, I've got some stuff going on too. In fact, Don, how long had the end game been happening? Anyway, you introduce yourself and everything that you're about and anything new.
Sure.
And I was just like, why did he come there? What a guy. What a nice guy.
Well, thank you, Christine. The truth is that I'm just honored to be invited anywhere, and I appreciate the invitation. I have been publishing The Endgame, which is a Substack newsletter, for more than 3 years. We celebrated our 3rd anniversary about a month ago. And it's a weekly email subscription. Subscriptions are free, although if you really love the product and you want to help a starving artist, you can get a paid subscription as well. And my whole focus is about aging positively with grace and purpose. And I got into this because it was a startling realization to me that upon retiring, I was not going to be going straight to the sick bed, but I was going to be having 20, maybe 25, maybe 30 more years of life ahead of me. And it was a long period of time to be doing nothing but complaining. So I set about looking at all the positive things that you can do, and I decided to make my mission encouraging other people to see that as well. I am also working on a book, which is not ready for prime time yet, but it will be about the problems of the new retirement, which is along the same lines of what I was just saying. It's not about playing golf. It's not about your margarita fever dream down at the beach. It's about finding purpose, finding meaning, doing things that you enjoy, enjoying the fact that you have time where you can do whatever you need to do, and just having it for yourself and making a contribution. So that's what I'm about.
Wow.
I'm looking forward to becoming a subscriber.
Oh, thank you.
I like
Don, you love to write.
Well, yes, I do.
Great. Oh, and say
I've,
how people get there.
okay. You can find the newsletter at the end game, all one word, dot substack.com. And that will get you right there, and you can sign up. And look forward to having you join us for the ride.
There's another way I relate to you, and that is avoiding all sports and all along the way. And now I'm so inspired. There's a gal that lives about 15 minutes away who was told, oh, you now have this condition. And one of the ways that you can maintain is to do some weight training. So the daughter of a gentleman who's known in the region for his, he's a PE teacher, plus, plus, plus. So he has worked with athletes and been a coach and all this. And his daughter followed in his footsteps, and she works at a senior living multi-care community. She works there, with people who are coming in for, using the machines, and started working with this person and noticed improvement of every sort, everything, to the point that she was racing her 9-year-old granddaughter in the parking lot. So that person who had been working with the woman with weight training marked out, whatever, the 100-meter run. And they were neck and neck until the very end. I will never know whether grandma let the 9-year-old win, but they did a race. People came out to watch the race, and it was suggested that perhaps she would consider senior Olympics. So in her age category, she was the only person, the only female in Oregon in her age category. So she did the race all by herself, which is, you'd rather run against somebody, but she did the race herself. Bye-bye, Emil. We are so
Bye-bye.
grateful to
Thank you.
hear. What a smart guy. Thank you,
Christine.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate your kind words. Nice to meet you all.
Yay. So she has the opportunity to go to the Senior Olympics for the United States because she's the only one in that age category. Can I remember her age? I believe she's in her 80s, but she hustles.
Wow.
She didn't just, she hasn't earned this simply because she was the only one that went around the track and qualified. So I'll take my moment, and that is to say that I do like to write, and I wrote an article for LinkedIn. My hubby producer, D. Scott Smith, motivational listener, said that could be a book. So it is a skinny book, and it is very skinny, and it is Caregiver Kit. It's a practical guide to putting together in a container that is somewhere that you want. Oh, we've got the sunshine on there. Somewhere that you want to keep it, and putting in items that help you grieve well, grieve healthfully, because grieving comes in the form of pre-grieving a future loss, re-grieving a past loss, anticipatory grieving in a situation where the diagnosis says that a funeral is coming soon, and a lot of other grieving, like grieving the last time that that loved one called you by name. They're alive, they're right in front of you, they're breathing, but they don't remember who you are or what to call you. So I wrote about that, and one of the experts here in the state of Oregon wrote me a letter that I got out of my mailbox that said, "I'm so glad it's so short. I've left it on my desk working with my clients, and they thumb through in just a few moments and say words like, I feel like I can do that." This is the big book. This is the big book of the 52 different aspects of aging that I recognized while I served in nearly 100 homes as a hired caregiver. So I've got Pre-Act Your Age Prompted Journal. It was recommended that I write it as a journal that you go through and choose the ways that you would like to be emotionally intelligent and relationally resilient should you be faced with any of those 52 aspects of aging. So that's my plug. Thank you, hubby producer, for putting that in. Hey, buddy, let's swing around to you and we'll end with Ron.
Okay, I was writing down your books. They look good. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, thank you.
I have a friend who's a grief counselor. He's getting his doctorate in counseling. What I do is help people become connected. I am a connector. I help people become known, liked, trusted, and remembered. You've probably heard too many times that people do business with people they know, like, and trust. They also have to remember you. So I have a KLTR formula. But I mainly use LinkedIn to help people, business people, independent professionals, solopreneurs, and especially coaches and authors. I'm trying to narrow my niche, so I'm focusing on coaches who want to become known, liked, trusted, and remembered so they can get clients and make more of an impact. Recently, I've become associated with the Great Discovery, which is all about coaches creating courses, online courses. It's a hosting platform similar to Kajabi or Thinkific or School, which allows people to create a course online and have it hosted. But it's less expensive than Kajabi, and it includes some amazing benefits due to AI. I'm very interested in AI, by the way. I have a LinkedIn newsletter called speedtools.ai. And I also have a LinkedIn newsletter called Getting Clients from LinkedIn or something like that. Anyway, the AI allows the Great Discovery to translate your course into up to 100 languages. And so it not only hosts your course, but it will translate it for you, and it will also market it for you. So the biggest weakness of most coaches is marketing their services. And same thing with online course creators. They're interested in creating the content and hoping somebody else will buy it. Well, the Great Discovery has an international network of affiliates who will market your course for an affiliate commission. And I've been interested in creating courses online myself for a long time. And almost every expert on the subject teaches to have joint ventures or affiliates. Somebody promoting your course to their list. They say the money is in the list, and if your list is not big enough, leverage somebody else's list. It's called other people's network, like OPN or OPM, other people's money, other people's networks. That's what LinkedIn is all about. In fact, that's why they call it LinkedIn, linked into the network. And with the Great Discovery, you can have not just one joint venture partner, but you can have potentially hundreds of people. If your course is good enough and they like what they see, they'll market it. So it's, I'm really excited about it. It's a brand new, it's launched March 15th, but it's launched by a 40-year-old company that is used by 80% of Fortune 100 companies. That is the Six Sigma. Have you heard of Six Sigma?
Oh, yeah.
Well, Six Sigma has a fourth generation, which is called the Great Discovery. And it's for those of us who are not corporate executives to create and publish our courses in other languages as well as English. And I'll end with this. The most exciting thing for coaches is they're in beta for real-time translation in multiple languages simultaneously, both directions. So you can speak in English, your client hears it in Japanese or Italian or German, and up to 60 languages simultaneously. So you could be in 100 countries and 60 languages, and they're hearing it in their language. They respond in their language and you hear it in English. Real time.
Wow.
Now, the only reason it's still in beta is the latency, the delay in long distance internet connection. So they've got it down to under 2 seconds delay, but with real time coaching and so forth, you'd like it to be shorter. So they're aiming for under 1 second delay. But it's really incredible. So anyway, I do have an affiliate link. I didn't put it on. I didn't give it to D. Scott Smith, but it would be thegreatdiscovery.com/? affiliate equals buddy. So question, who's the affiliate? ? affiliate equals buddy. Thegreatdiscovery.com. Yeah, anyway, it's I encourage you to take a look. You can, at the beginning, you mentioned, Christine, that you're interested in maybe taking some courses, like on gerontology or science. There's going to be potentially thousands of courses on the Great Discovery. So.
Wow. Oh, thank you so much. You said you were trying to write it down. If you agingbetternetwork.com, the links to Care Griever Kit, which Amazon keeps trying to autocorrect. The links to get you right to them are on agingbetternetwork.com, the resource website. Thank you. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Don. Ron, you are going to sing the closing hymn on this on this time together. I don't know if you have a ukulele. That's what happened several episodes ago. He was singing rolling along, singing a song side by side.
Well,
But you have the stage, Ron, until we are done.
Okay, I don't think you're going to want me to either sing or play the ukulele.
I don't know.
Any other instrument. But I thought, first of all, thank you very much for putting this wonderful panel together and inviting me to be part of it. I think there are a couple of things I should mention before I talk about my professional stuff, just based on some of the things that happened, because I think it kind of encapsulates a bit about my life. First of all, unlike you, Don, I have not been able to avoid come with being fairly active exercise-wise my life. So this shoulder has been dislocated 3 times. The rotator cuff in this shoulder has been torn, but I can, I've rehabbed it well, didn't need surgery. Tore the ACL in my left knee, and the right hip has been replaced. I mention that because it's relevant to mention that because it relates to what some of you did, that last November, after a real courageous battle with cancer, my wife passed away. And just my approach is that I wouldn't trade the years that I was doing exercise, and I wouldn't trade who I was married, the 53 years of marriage to Libby for anything in the world. So, the prices that you pay can be worth it if you make appropriate decisions. Having said that, my history is I'm a positive health psychologist. Much of my life was devoted to working with one of the world's leading headache centers, now the Jefferson Headache Center, as director of psychology. I was active there until a couple of years ago, and over time I became aware of the fact that some of the things I learned to deal with headache patients really applies to people who are growing older. In other words, headache is a neurochemical disorder. Unlike some of the other neurological disorders, it's not degenerative. If you can get chemistry into balance, you don't have to have severe debilitating headaches. So it's a matter of getting people to do the appropriate things that include, among other things, staying active and exercising and getting out of bed and things of that nature. I saw the same thing with some peers, that some were aging well, some were not. And so a few years ago, I wrote Rejuvenating, the Art and Science of Growing Older with Enthusiasm. Like you, Christine, autocorrect keeps trying to make it rejuvenating, but it's rejuvenating. And it's available on Amazon. I also have an ebook there that was written before that's more general. It's called What Can Go Right? The Thinking Person's Guide to Making Good Things Happen. Really came about when I was working with my patients, and we'd meet a particular, I'd ask, what can go right? And people would say, did you mean what can go wrong? Or I can tell you what can go wrong, or something along, or never thought of that. It was almost as if it's a trick question that I think a lot of people need to deal with. It's kind of the basis of some of the things. In rejuvenating, there are 7 keys to rejuvenating, 77 different behaviors. Again, both of them are available on Amazon. What Can Go Right is an ebook exclusively. Rejuvenating you can get in as a paperback, an ebook, or audiobook. I also am pretty frequently am on social media. I have 2 websites: the Mental Health Gym, which is my primary one, and one that's Dr. Ron. And I have an online do-it-yourself coaching or course that deals with what I call winning in overtime. That those of us who have reached a certain age, and I'm 86, so I'm always the oldest person in whatever group we're in. We're like we've reached overtime. I mean, when I was born, the projected for a male born in the United States was about 60. So, I've spent the last 26 years and hopefully more in overtime. And just like if a team gets to overtime, I mean, it's nice, but it's not really an accomplishment unless you win. And what I'm hoping is more people will win uh, the aging process, and be active and contribute to society as long as possible. And my coaching program is really directed at people who are either approaching overtime, who are approaching retirement age, or who are in it but need some guidance as to how to do it properly. And that brings me to the final thing, Better Age. Our website is .net. Our first product, which is a health and well-being assessment, is not available to the general public yet. We hope to have it this year. It's now being marketed through an affiliation we have with senior centers throughout the country. We got a $2.5 million grant from the NIH to develop this, and we're submitting for another one that's directed at developing an app for caregivers of people with dementia, that we're waiting to see whether we get that. And the next thing down the line is to encourage physicians to do social prescribing, to not just prescribe drugs, but exercise, dietary changes, to make this a formal part of things, instead of a physician saying, well, you really should exercise more, or you should fish, or whatever it may be, to actually have a program like this. So those are a few of the things on my plate. I'm always anxious to correspond with people. Probably the best way to get me is ron.kaiser@thementalhealthgym.com. And again, thanks very much for having me.
And that's Kaiser, Kaiser.
Yeah,
I'm on the screen with people who are winning in overtime. And I am cheering, and somebody helped me up on the bleachers so that I could cheer. And I'm just loving this. I love Wednesdays. I love being able to listen to you talk about whatever. We went kind of whoop-de-doo all over the place today, which is what I love to do. So I'm sad to say I've got to say goodbye. And hooray for Verizon that brought us Ron Kaiser today when other things were going bad in the region.
I just got a text that my computer is now up and working because Comcast has resolved the issue.
Hooray. Good,
because you got like 17 things on your plate from what you just told us. You all do. Congratulations. Dawn, have a great time having your book happen. Buddy, I'm just like, hey, a business person. I'm learning about business. And you're telling me there's courses I can learn from. I'm excited. I'm excited about aging. You guys are part of it. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your Wednesday.
Thank you, Christine.
Thank you.
Absolutely.